And I'll just throw it out to you. If you think of all these moves, what's the one that is the biggest to you that will have the biggest impact on
Ryan Grubb? All
right. Which is an interesting one. The only person who lost their job in this situation is Ryan Grubb. Ryan Grubb was Kalen DeBoer's offensive coordinator at Fresno State and Washington. He was going to go with him to Alabama, but then he got hired by the Seattle Seahawks, which, look, if the NFL team in the town where you currently live says, come do the same job for us and we'll pay you more money, you take it. You're not going to, rather than move across the country, you take it. He did. It didn't work out. He got fired. He is now headed to Tuscaloosa to be the offensive coordinator at Alabama. And it's interesting that Nick Sheridan, who wound up calling plays this year, he's staying on staff. It's not like they brought in Ryan Grubb and Nick Sheridan is like, well, I'm out of here because I'm not going to get to call plays anymore. Like Nick Sheridan worked on the same staff with those guys at Washington. Nick Sheridan is the reason Michael Penix Jr. went to Washington, because he had helped recruit him to Indiana, had actually helped recruit him at Tennessee when Nick was an analyst at Tennessee. But I think it's telling that this didn't blow the whole thing up. Like, it's just everybody going, oh, this is how it's supposed to be.
Yeah, and I've said this on the show a few times, but like the Washington offense from 2 years ago was some of the most beautiful offense ever. And like the idea of getting the band back together to play with some of the talent that they're going to have, like I can't only imagine like what offense might look like in 2 years with Keelan Russell. I don't know if it's going to be this year, but like it's going to be good. Year 2, Keelan Russell with year 3, Ryan Williams and that coaching staff. Like, can you start like seeing the vision a little bit? And like the thing that's so funny is that we always talk about like, oh wow, Alabama's talent. Washington had a lot of really explosive, good NFL caliber offensive skill position players on the team that went to the national championship.
And offensive linemen, like Roger Rosengarten started for the Ravens this year. Like, right. They had good players across the board.
Football in Seattle that year. They were playing really, really high level, high talent football that year. But if they can figure out their quarterback situation, I think Alabama has a chance to shock some people this year. And I think it's funny to say it that way, but like when I had them in the playoff, people were like, "Oh God, here we go again with Bama." And it's like they've got dudes.
No, they still have lots of great athletes on that team.
So
when it comes to making you the best hamburgers around, the basics matter. And Wendy's, well, they've got those burger basics on lock, and boy, does it show. So what is all the secret to all those hot and juicy hamburgers? Simple. Wendy's always crafts their burgers with the fresh, never frozen beef that they're famous for. The result, hot and juicy, beefy hamburger perfection every time. No matter which hamburger you order from the Wendy's menu, you already know that thanks to those Wendy's burger basics, it's going to be exactly what you were craving. Fresh beef available in the contiguous U.S., Alaska, and Canada, not available in Hawaii, but in those places where it's available. Yeah, the single, the Baconator, all fresh.
But yeah, I think that like in terms of influential, because Alabama's offense, point the finger at Jalen, not Jalen Hurts,
Jalen Milroe.
They were the same person in my brain for a second, and I am embarrassed by it because one's a Super Bowl champion and one had a tough day at the Senior Bowl. But maybe one day Jalen Milroe will be a Super Bowl
guy's named Jalen from Texas who played quarterback at Alabama.
Quarterback at Alabama. Yeah, I get it. I get it. But still. This seems to be the most the highest ceiling or the biggest change. Like, because like with Penn State getting Jim Knowles is up there, obviously. But Penn State
was already really good at defense.
Yeah, like it's like I know they're going to be great, and Jim Knowles is going to be awesome. He's a great defensive coordinator, maybe the best in the country. But like Penn State's issues aren't getting stops. Like it's never been that's never been their problem. So for me, the biggest transitional opportunity here is in Alabama.
I would agree with that. And I'm excited to see what this looks like because it was so much fun to watch the last time DeBoer and Grubb were together. So we'll see if they can put that together.